The fentanyl xylazine crisis is a national emergency requiring immediate action and empathy. It challenges our commitment to preserving lives, safeguarding those at risk, and restoring community well being. We must respond decisively, matching the severity of this crisis. The lives of our loved ones hang in the balance. Here now is Mike B.
Thank you, Victoria. Good evening and good morning, wherever you may be in the world tonight or the next day, the 22nd of December. We're still the 21st. As you can see by the show title, there is a brewing conflict in the Caribbean. It seems to be between the U.S. and Venezuela. China may be involved as well as Russia, and things are heating up. And um, I know, there are talks, there are conversations about oil and things like that. I can tell you, yesterday there was a post on X in which the U.S. Coast Guard seized another tanker. They've already have seized one tanker carrying oil out of Venezuela. So there is some type of blockade happening right now. But this show, I want to focus on the drug crisis. Just to give you a little bit of the backstory, in recent days, within a past few months or so, there have been some strikes on fast speedboats leaving Venezuela, and a lot of those boats have been destroyed, with people being killed. And so I think that the root cause of a lot of what's happening right now in the Caribbean has to do with the fentanyl and xylazine crisis that's happening in the U.S. I'm going to show some images. I'm going to show some videos. It's going to be a very heavy content displaying show, but I can tell you for a fact, living in California, that the fentanyl epidemic, combined with xylazine. If you don't know what xylazine is, with the street name is Trank. And I know that in various parts of the country, the inner cities, or wherever you may be, you see a lot of homeless and drug use in the streets, specifically in major cities, LA, Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, and many cities throughout the country. And you see a lot of drug users that are slumped over. They seem to be standing up, but they're bent over as if though they're in some type of trans state. That's why they call it trank. But xylazine is an animal tranquilizer, so it's not even designed for humans. It's designed for animals. So the end results of the drug epidemic in this country, fentanyl and xylazine are absolutely the worst of the worst, and it's destroying minute by minute, second by second, the fabric of how we live in this country. And in my opinion, this is why President Trump is doing what he's doing. This is not the first time this has happened. Trump's first administration in 2016, I happen to know people that were on the front lines when the Trump administration, during his first administration, tried to intervene and stop the flow of fentanyl at that time, 2016, into the country. Fentanyl actually started coming in around 2013 under the Obama administration, but there wasn't very much done. But there was this major push through the Trump administration on his first campaign to stop it. So fentanyl has been flooding into this country for many years now, many years. And this is part two of his administration's effort to shut this down. With that being said, I'll talk about that a little bit more. Let me see if I can turn my audio down. I feel like I'm a little bit hot here. It's a new configuration. As you know, I am always trying to improve how we do the broadcast here. So I have an entire setup with a new audio setup as well. Let me open this up with President Trump's stance on the what's coming out of Venezuela and what his plan is.
Our sea drugs, as they call them, they use the term sea drugs. The drugs coming in by sea are like 5% of what they were a year ago, less than 5%. So now they're coming in by land. And even the land is concerned because I told them that's going to be next. You know, the land is going to be next. And we may go to the Senate, we may go to the, Congress and tell them about it. But I can't imagine they'd have any problem with it. I think, in fact, while we're here, I think it's a good idea, Pete. You go to Congress, you tell them about it. What are they going to do? Say, gee, we don't want to stop drugs pouring in? I don't see any lawsuit going. No reason not to. They'll always complain, oh, we should have gone. So we're going to definitely, I'd like to just tell you, let's go. We'll go.
And Mr.
We're going to
President,
tell them what we're going to do, and I think they're going to probably like it,
I
except
think he
for
said
the radical left
gonna kill them.
lunatics.
and Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay, we're going to kill them. They're going to be like dead. Okay.
So that's his plan. So with the activity that you're currently seeing in the Caribbean, those are images, some of the speedboats that have been terminated through monitoring with the military. So a few of those individuals, several by the way, have been killed already in this attempt to stop some of those boats coming out of Venezuela. So let me see if I can run that back just a little bit. We don't get stopped here. I have a new system again, and it looks like there we go. And let's give you some action before we wrap things up. There you go. So, this is the unclassified footage of what they're doing to stop some of the drugs from coming out of Venezuela. Now, let me just kind of bring back to another clip that I want to share with you. China is involved in this because China, they import the prerequisite chemicals to make fentanyl. And they ship those prerequisites, not fentanyl itself, but the elements and compounds that it takes to make fentanyl. And and then that is assembled in Mexico and Venezuela and areas of Central and Mexico and Central America. So China, provides the prerequisite chemicals that's sent to the Caribbean countries. They make the product and then they ship those products, as you can see, via speedboat or via land passages. And of course, you heard President Trump saying that they're going to deal with the land aspect of things and very soon. But let me show one more clip.
How many people died from overdose drugs? In 2022, 107,941 people died from overdose that year. Of the 107, do you know how many was just fentanyl? 73,654. Nearly 70% of anyone in America that died from overdose died from one drug, fentanyl.
70%.
That's unbelievable. And then when you look at the chart on where it was before, non-existent in 2000, non-existent in 2005. Non-existent in 2010, pretty much non-existent to 2013. And now look at the spike on what happened to it. You know how long ago this is? 12 years ago. Right. You know how many people around me tell stories about fentanyl that they lost somebody? A lot of people. And this is what they're trying to stop from getting in our country.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So in recent days, the Trump administration, they've classified certain drugs as or certain organizations as, number one, terrorist, and they've classified fentanyl and xylazine as weapons of mass destruction. By doing so, he has the authority to use lethal force, use the full power of the military to stop the chemicals from coming into and drugs from coming into the country by doing that. So he had to, number one, classify cartels as terrorist organizations, and number two, classify the drugs as weapons of mass destruction. And he's doing all that to shut this down. But in case you don't know actually what's happening in our streets, and I'm going to show you just a very brief clip. And then I'm gonna give you a live feed of what we're seeing. But this is in every city. This is in my city. I see this every day. I can go outside out here on the block and see people slumping over and under the influence of fentanyl and xylazine just right out here. So it's all over, and it's devastating our country. And of course, the administration has to do something about it. So what we're seeing. So that's just about just a little bit of what we're seeing, but it's all over. It's in Phoenix. It's in, again, every major city, small cities, big cities. It's everywhere. You know, downtown Los Angeles, Skid Row. You see this all day, every day. And of course, the images I just showed you were taken in Kensington, Philadelphia, which is considered ground zero for the fentanyl and the xylazine situation. The other thing that I want to share with you, I don't know if I took a clip of this or not, but xylazine is causing an epidemic of young adults, and I say young adults, I'm talking in their teens, 20s, early 30s that look like they're 50s, in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. So you have these young adults that are looking like they're in their 60s or 70s, but they're losing their teeth. They're their skin is wrinkled up. Not only that, their skin is um, literally being eaten down to the bone because of the xylazine. Xylazine is an animal tranquilizer, so there are no clear studies on the effects on the human body. But what we are seeing is when the drug users, which is, by the way, this is highly addictive. The drug users inject the xylazine into their bloodstream. The chemicals in the xylazine causes a flesh-eating type of reaction. So it eats away at the flesh all the way down to the bone. So there, again, I'm not going to show any graphic images, but if you just Google xylazine images, they're horrible. They're horrible. And the end result is to a lesser extent is antibiotics, strong antibiotics for wound care and treatment. But in the worst case scenario, amputation. There are a lot of young adults are having to have their limbs amputated due to the necrotic result of taking these drugs. They have to stop the infection. They have to stop the necrosis. So they're undergoing limb amputations like crazy. And we're talking about young adults. They're having their limbs chopped off because of the xylazine. So just to give you a little bit of backstory, you have fentanyl, you have the xylazine, and what they're doing is fentanyl is a very cheap opioid, synthetic opioid. And the high is quick onset, and but a lot of the fentanyl that's in the streets, we don't. A lot of the drug users do not know the concentration of fentanyl. Fentanyl in itself, the smallest amount of exposure to that can kill you. So a lot of people are ODing on fentanyl, but there's Norcan, which is a very common drug that they're using. I mean, you can just about get Norcan anywhere now, and it's either injected or inhale it in the nose, and it snaps you out of the um, overdose. So you snaps you out of it. It reverses the effects of fentanyl, but it does not work on xylazine. So what the cartels and the drug pushers and manufacturers are doing, they're combining fentanyl with xylazine in an effort to intensify the high, and it becomes even more addictive. So it's eating our cities up like crazy, and it's like a wildfire that's out of control. That is why the Trump administration is doing what it's doing. As of, I would say, the 20th December, yesterday, this statement came out by Kristi Noem, who is the Secretary of Homeland Security. She indicated that the Coast Guard did seize a second vessel that was departing Venezuela. And it says the statement at the bottom says the United States will continue to pursue the illicit movement of sanctioned oil that is used to fund narco terrorism in the region. And we will find you and we will stop you. So this is just an unclassified photo of the second tanker that was stopped. So this is a big, big, big deal, and I can't say that what's happening, um, to stop this flow of drugs into the country is wrong. The president is doing what he feels he must do. Again, he started this in his first administration, and now this is a ramp up to that. But let's just take a quick look and see in live what our city streets looks like. We're going to jump to LA, then we're going to jump to Kensington and see what's going on. So let's take a look at the live stream right now. Oh, so what we're looking at right here, this looks like this is Skid Row. And this is a live feed of Skid Row right now. And as you can see, the degree of homeless that's out there right now. You can see the trash. You can see where people are living, and 99.9% of the people that live in Skid Row are drug users and drug addicts. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see some slumping. They call it the zombie state, where the people are hunched over. But if you kind of look at the live feed, you kind of just kind of get a feel for this is the type of place where that's happening. And again, this is Skid Row that's highly populated with this type of usage. And again, this is just this is in real time. This is in real time that's happening right now on a live cam on Skid Row. So again, horrible situation. And again, this is the reason why the president is doing what he's doing. He's going to clean these streets up. Let's jump to Philadelphia and see what's going on. Oh, here's a good one. Here's one. Here's a person right now. This is Kensington Boulevard live stream. There's a person. Looks like I thought I saw some slumping movement there, but looks like they may have snapped out of it. But let's just let the camera pan over and see what we can see. So it looks like we have some individuals out there right now. I don't know what they're doing, but as the camera continues to pan, and again, this is just a very looks like there's a person on the corner there slumping. If you look in your very left side corner there's a person right there that's bent over right now, who is probably under the influence of Trank right now. So it looks like there's a person with a blanket on them, and they're slumped over. So this is very common, and we're seeing this every day in our streets. I'm going to, as the camera continues to pan, I see somebody over by, it looks like some type of emergency call box. They're slumped over there behind the metal cage there. You can kind of see that as the camera uh, pans over. This is a live feed of Kensington, Philadelphia, which is a very small section that the camera is capturing right now. But these two locations, LA and Philadelphia, are just a small fraction of what we're seeing every day and what the president has to get under control. So again, this is a real thing. It's a real thing, and uh, it's something that really needs to be addressed. And by the president enacting these executive orders to target the cartel in the Caribbean with using the small boats. I know there was some controversy a few weeks ago about a boat being hit and then hit twice. That's just the nature of doing business. Collateral damage. I have no comment in regards to that one way or the other, but that's the cost of of warfare, and it is warfare right now. And we'll see where things go. So Russia may play a part in this. China obviously plays a part in this, but Venezuela's two biggest allies in the world are Russia and China, and for support and funding for different things. So we don't know where this is going to escalate to, but it is steadily, minute by minute, escalating between our country and Venezuela, and then again, Venezuela's buddies, which is Russia and China, may try to intervene and jump in and do some, stir up some additional trouble, which is even more trouble for us. So we'll see what happens in as the new year come up in 2026. But again, I wanted to do this show just so that the audience understands why the administration, just on the drug situation alone, we're not talking about oil or land. That's another subject. Just on mitigating the drug situation, getting that under control alone is justifiable for the tremendous amount of military action that's being executed in the Caribbean right now, just on that alone. So, with that being said, I look forward. I so enough of that. It's the holidays. I want to wish everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year's, and things like that. Yeah, I look to do more live streams. I enjoy live streams, and I do plan on putting out more content. I've got time off for the holidays. I'm looking forward to that. Thank goodness. Taking some road trips, maybe heading out to Vegas or Arizona. I may even be leaving tonight after this. We'll see. So being able to have the time off to spend time with family, decompress, work on my business, work on my brand, and I've got at least a good 2 weeks to work on that. Thank goodness. So I'm in a good space right now, and I'll just look forward to just bringing much more exciting content to the audience. With that being said, I want to wish everyone a good night or good morning, wherever you may be, and I look forward to my next